while back, was an alcoholic. Had a mental breakdown like a year ago. Came close to put me in a coffin. Damn.
It's Jay Williams. Let's live life. Welcome back. Y'all know what it is when we start. If you're not subscribed, please hit subscribe, man. I lost a couple followers, not sure why. It's okay. I'm not looking to make money off this, hoping to help somebody along their journey. Make sure you hit that like or don't like. Be honest, do whatever you feel. And last but not least, comment. Turn the notifications on. Do all the things that make YouTube what it is. So before we get any further, man, let me go ahead and introduce y'all today's video. This is my mom, my mother, the woman that birthed me. And what it's going to do is it's going to walk you down my history, my life, my alleyway, and let you know who I am, where I came from, and how I became who I am. One thing about me and my channel is I will never be fake. I will give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. I wasn't always Jay Williams, the owner of JHW Construction. I wasn't always Jay Williams, 1188-376 inmate. I wasn't always the child in the detention center. Before all that started, I was a child. My dad went to prison before I was born. He killed a man here in Richmond during a shootout, a guy by the name of Jack Schaefer. During the shootout, his brother lost his leg was blown off. My dad pulled up, chaos was erupting, the card game had gone bad. His family members were playing cards with a family of guys that they pretty much were enemies with. Pop showed up, was hit with the gauge a couple times. Dude tried to reload, walked up on him, told him you're gonna die today, and he blew his whole face off. Like, this guy was literally racking shells into the shotgun to kill my dad after he shot him. Pops had pulled his double barrel up, put it underneath his chin and pulled. Mom tells me the pictures are so nasty that people on the jury started throwing up when they seen it from what he had done to this man's head. Fast forward, he does his time. He's at Mecklenburg, the Wall, Springer Street, Southampton Gladiator School, for all y'all that know what Virginia prisons are. Meets my mom. They get together, whatever. He's a young dude. He's like me at the time, you know, he gets money, known to have nice cars, and she's living off Sims Avenue. You know, mom had a rough life. She had been through foster care, dealt with bad things, had a mother that abandoned her, a dad that wasn't around, so she went into the foster system, you know. Well, she meets my dad, and, you know, she's had a couple little small relationships. My dad was that dude that's like me, swept her off her feet. They live in the belly of the beast. They live off Sims Avenue. I'm born February 5th, 1980. We leave Virginia, out of Richmond. We head to Charlotte. We live in Charlotte up until I'm 12, and a lot transpired between then. And I'm trying to keep this on the script of my mom, so we're going to get back to that. I remember a lot from my childhood, and there's not a lot of good memories, but I know a lot of what I've been told. My dad now, he was a violent man. When I mean violent, he was full-blooded Indian, and all he had ever known was violence. His whole life, he had, you know, been through the ringer. He'd been cut, stabbed, shot, beat. He was known for fighting. It was just a whole different level of what it can turn a human being into. Now, you give this guy children, and he kind of, I guess he took out the pain that he had inside and the anger he had inside on these kids. Me being the firstborn, my mom, I caught it. When I mean caught it, like for any child that's watching that deals with abuse from a parent or someone in their life, you're not alone. I dealt with it too. And here I am. I made it out, you know. But my mom told me when I took my first steps, her and my dad were deep in an argument because he was just a nut and he was drinking at the time. And that, you know, the high chair you sit in to feed your kid his food, she said he threw that high chair at her. And they didn't know I could walk. You know, I hadn't been walking. But I decided this day I was going to walk. Little boy, 2 years old, I get up out of bed. I walk down the hallway, this trailer in Jerry's Trailer Park in Charlotte, and he throws this booster chair. She steps, you know, side steps, and boom, it hits me, knocks me out. Welcome to the world. I don't know how long I was out. From what she's told me, it wasn't a good ordeal, you know. Then after that, I remember the beatings. The beatings were bad. And when I mean bad, like, this is how you would hit another grown man or a dog or, you know, something that you have no care for. It's like kicking a bag of trash or punching a wall. That was what I started to experience immediately. And my mom, my mother, she was always there. Now, before y'all get in the comments and say she should have done something, or how could she let you, you know, him do that to you, you don't know who my dad was. You don't know the fear that he inflicted on people, the pain, and overall just impact he had on people's bodies and mental state. And my mother knew firsthand because she had seen him do things that I think to this day she won't talk about. I've heard a lot of it, I've seen a lot of it, but when you're dealing with a psycho, someone that you truly fear, someone that's convinced you that they will track you down and kill you, and you know they're telling the truth, they can pretty much get away with anything. And he did. These beatings went on for many, many years. Then comes my sister, then comes my younger brother, then comes my baby sister. And you know, I always did what I could to lessen their load. If he was out to hurt somebody, out to draw blood, y'all might call me crazy, I would take it. If they broke something or did something bad, I already knew how bad it was going to be for them, considering they were smaller than me. And I had already been through so much of it that I would just take it. And I was scared to death. Scared of this man. When I mean scared, like, there is no way to describe how much I feared this man. He could walk in the room and my whole body would shudder and I would turn pale because the fear was that real. So much transpired between then and, you know, the years that led up to his death that it's hard to capture it all. But I want y'all to know that I always did everything I could to defend my family members. And once I got big enough and my nuts dropped, I poked my chest out and I would wear them ass whoopings like a man. I'd buck up and I'd tell him, if you want it, come get it. You know what I mean? I'm right here. I'm not scared of you no more. You can't beat me. Everything you've been through, I've been through. Give it to me. Don't give it to them. Give it to me. And I'd take it. And he'd give it to me. My mother, she used to take it. I can remember my father was part of a robbery and just netted him a whole lot of money. A whole lot of weed. They robbed a drug dealer. And we moved instantly from like this badass place, man. This terrible, terrible trailer park right next to the Charlotte Motor Speedway called Willingtown. And I think the feds swooped in. I don't know, because overnight he was like, pack your stuff, we gotta go, we gotta go. And he had done so much dirt that we just had to go. And we moved to this big house off Providence Road in Charlotte, North Carolina. 7 acres of land, a 3-wheeler. Like, not used to this, man. I'm used to living in the gutter, you know what I mean? The mud. And that didn't change anything. I remember coming home from school and seeing him and my mom arguing, him holding a shotgun in her face, and him squeezing the trigger and her pushing it, and it blowing a hole through our roof. To be a kid and witness something like that, to like see someone that's supposed to be your dad, and to see your mom, which you've seen wear so many ass whoopings behind protecting you, and that is just this battered shell of a woman standing there scared and almost get her face blown off. It's a memory that just stays as fresh as something you just witnessed 5 minutes ago. I can remember the sink was on the left, the toilet was right behind her, the shower was to the right, the walls were blue, the ceiling was white, it was a blue shower curtain, a green tub with an inlay. I remember all that. And I remember after he did it, he told her, next time I'll blow your head off. And he walked off. My mom was that woman, and is that woman, that when I needed her most, she was always there. My dad had an excuse for everything. If he couldn't make $2,500 a day working, it wasn't for him. He wasn't going to do it. He was going to sit at home until a job came along. If he could do one job a month that made $2,500, he was cool with it. Otherwise, he'd be at home trying to look for something criminal to do, which led me to a lot of my criminal ways. So, wasn't long. We were there. I don't know what happened. I have an idea. My dad had bought this 77 Fleetwood Cadillac, all yellow, for my mom. Bought himself this big red monster truck he called Big Red. Started a tree company, had a fleet of work trucks. Fed swooped in again and we had to go. After that, we moved to just this shithole trailer. And when I mean shithole, it was a shithole. And the beatings continued. My mom was working 3 jobs. I would say 2, 3, but it was 3 jobs. Between being a blacksmith, working at 2 different, gas stations, she was doing what she had to do to pay the bills. And all he did was make a little bit of money and smoke weed with it. Buy vehicles with it, get him a Bronco or a truck, and then run around like he was big shit. And my mom was really the one struggling to pay all the bills. We go forward, I become a teen. I get in trouble. I go to the detention center. My dad never came to see me. They actually came to get me, and my dad told them, take me. My mom cried, but then when visitation days rolled around, my mom was there. That continued. Went forward. Pops died when I was 17. We were living in Meadowdale Apartments. And he was sick. I was in and out the house at this point. I pretty much left home, but was coming back. I had stuff there. I was selling drugs. My mom knew it. I was running with the wrong crowd. We'd be 10 deep out back on the stoop drinking 40s. And she'd come out. We tucked the gun. She'd see us in the bed. Y'all get out of here. She locked me out the house. She did all this to try to save me, but she couldn't. By the time I was 18, I was already in jail. Like locked up. From there until the time that, the first time I went away, which was in Philly, which was a year later, I'd been bonded out, I think, between 1998 and the time I went away in 1999. I was bonded out 11 times, and my mom bonded me every single time, knowing I was going to run. She knew. She knew as soon as I got out, first thing I was going to do was get a gun, get some drugs, and get a little money and run. And I get caught, and she'd come get me again. She always made sure my books were straight. She always looked after me. When I was a kid and I'd take them beatings, she would hug me and tell me she loves me. And she's sorry and she wishes there was something, she could do, and she hates him so much. And how nights that she's come home from work, she thinks about just driving her car off the side of a bridge, and all that keeps her from doing it is us. She would drive hours to come see me. All the way in Philadelphia. From Richmond. She's coming to see me each weekend. If she didn't have it, she'd dip in the bill money and make sure that her baby was fed. To the streets, I was a monster. I was a goon, Like Ply said, I'm a goon to these streets, but to my mom, I'm still a baby. I was my mama's baby. Then I go away for good. And when I say for good, for a decade. And from the time of 18 till 24, I think I was arrested 23 times. I get sent to prison. Everybody forgets about me. My mom is there. In the end, my mom, she slowed up, but I wasn't one of those guys that called home every week begging for money. I wasn't one of those guys that constantly bugged mom for things. What happened in prison stayed in prison. I didn't call my mom with, hey, I just got stabbed twice. My cellie says this shit stinks real bad and I'm gonna have to go to the infirmary. I wouldn't tell her that. I talked on the phone, how you doing, baby? I'm good, mama, everything's all right. You safe? Yeah, mama, I'm safe. Because that's what I wanted her to have. I wanted her to have peace. I remember she told me that when she heard robbery and homicide had finally caught me in Philadelphia and had me in handcuffs, that she was finally able to sleep. She said, that's sad, but I knew that you were okay, you were safe. I wasn't gonna get a call that you were dead in these streets, or that I had to identify your body, or that I had to come pick out a tattoo on you because they couldn't identify you. She said I could finally sleep when they got you. My mother will and is and always will be my heart. I came out of prison at 34 years old. After over a decade gone, I came out and I hit the ground running. There wasn't nothing nobody could tell me. Couldn't nobody tell me I couldn't be who I wanted to be. I'm going to be that guy, no matter what. And my mom fell back. At first, I was angry. I was mad. I felt like she had given up on me. My son is 3. He's never rode in a car with her. He's never stayed the night at her house. Never went out for lunch. I have an 18-year-old that has never stayed the night with her. I think he rode in her car a couple times to come see me in prison. And I'm thankful for that. But as I look at all the anger that I have, a lot of people say, if she don't fuck with your kids, you don't fuck with her. I look back on it like this. My mother was there when I needed her the most. In my darkest moments, when I had nothing, and I was stripped of everything that a man consists of, and I was sitting in the hole, butt ball naked, curled up, cold, hungry. If that phone rolled around, I could call my mom. When everyone else forgot about me and no card showed up, I'd get one from my mom. When years rolled by and nobody came to see me, my mom came. So getting out and doing good for once in life, it really kind of put me in my feelings thinking, that's my mom. Why wouldn't she be proud of me? Why isn't she paying more attention to me? Why doesn't she contact me? Tell me she loves me. Do something with my kids. And then I realized what it is. We're good. She don't have to worry about me no more. She don't have to stress about that phone call coming in that I'm dead. And I think that with all the bad my father put her through and I put her through, that after her kids grew up, it left a bad taste in her mouth and she was done raising kids. She didn't want to fail again. She didn't want to do something wrong and not be good enough again. I love my mom. She can never be replaced. No one could ever walk in her shoes. People can say what they want, feel what they want, have their opinion. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, y'all weren't there holding that 2-year-old little boy that got knocked out by that booster chair. Y'all weren't there when that little blonde-haired boy disappeared and went to prison. She was. And for that, I love you, Mom. And everything will be okay. I told y'all, my channel shit gets real, man. And I don't have no problem being a real person or being who I am. It's something that's really been on my mind that I can't talk to many about. So I'm going to talk to y'all about it. And I need y'all's feedback. I can't make anything happen these days. I can't control what happens these days. But I'm very thankful for the things that have happened. And for the things that have made me who I am. For anybody that's got something bad to say about your mom, regardless of what you've been through, always remember that she could have thrown your ass in a dumpster, but she didn't. Without her, there would be no you. And without my mom, I wouldn't be the man I am today. This is Jay Williams. Let's live life. And as always, man, to all my real ones, I fucking salute.
A while back was an alcoholic. Had a mental breakdown like a year ago. Came close to put me in a coffin. Damn.